Hey guys, and welcome to Clue Time. Now, this is a part of my channel that I'm dedicating specifically each week to figuring out the clues behind each Masked Singer. Now, obviously, in the early stages, we've only got 6 contestants, 5 contestants, blah blah blah, to search for each episode. Might get harder once they start merging the groups, but who knows what's going to happen. So yeah, I'm very excited to go through these because I think I have managed to solidify some of my guesses based on what I think and based on what some of you guys think as well. Because yeah, when I'm really stuck, I do tend to turn to the YouTube comment section for ideas, and to be perfectly honest, it's not like everybody else does that as well. It's not like you guys don't do that because we're human. Curiosity gets the best of us. Don't know what I was trying to say there. But yeah, let's get straight into it, and we will go through our first 6 Masked Singers of this series. I did write down Ghost's clues as well, just for a laugh, despite the fact that, he was eliminated and I found out who he was anyway, and I got it wrong, but, we'll just have to see where we go from here. Now, let's start off with knitting. Now, knitting was somebody that I didn't get on my own. I did get this one with the help of some other people, and I'm very grateful for them to. I'm very grateful to them for that. Sorry, speech is fumble it sometimes. Now I noticed some people in the YouTube comment section saying this, and some of my friends online were saying it because a friend of mine in our group chat online, she is a very big Steps fan, so she pointed this out to me straight away, which led to me having to take back what I said about this person not being a professional singer. And to be perfectly honest, I don't know whether it was because she was trying to disguise her voice or what it was, because to me, she didn't sound like a professional singer. At least not at first, anyway. A couple more listens, and there were a few moments that sort of went in and out, but yeah, I think she might be trying to hide her abilities. We'll just have to see where we progress from here, because she's kind of holding on to this very shy character with knitting, so who knows. But I think that our dear friend Miss Knitting could be Claire Richards from Steps. Now, there were 3 clues that I saw that could lead me to this. Now, first of all, there was the knitting morning written on the bunting in the hall, and Claire has had an item on morning TV on this morning, which leads me into the next clue, which was I can be a little bit crafty. Now, Claire's section on this morning was about fashion and craft. She did this whole section about how to dress like step stars in all the great big spangly dresses, how to do various types of craft, and she's got items in Crafts magazine as well. So that led me down that route. Now, I got a little bit distracted by the magpie clue because of Mo going, "Oh, that's a Newcastle reference," and that's making me realise that you can't trust a word that the judges say during the earlier stages of the competition because it'll just throw you off. Do not listen to what they say. Go off your gut, is what I say to anybody that's trying to play the detective game at home. But yes, the magpie clue, and this definitely caught my eye. There was one magpie on the wall. What does one magpie signify? Sorrow. Now, now I'm not a massive Steps fan, I must admit. I only know a few of their basic songs like 5, 6, 7, 8, Tragedy, even though I'm more a fan of the Bee Gees version. Sorry, guys. But I didn't realise that Steps, and I thought the magpie was meant to signify tragedy because, sorrow leads to tragedy, but I didn't actually realise that Steps have a hit called One for Sorrow, which I looked up earlier today. So, yes, yeah, I'm perfectly sure now that this is Claire Richards. It's definitely not Fatosa because she's too short. Now, jellyfish. Initially, when I was recording my episode for the show, I said Kelly Rowland. But on closer inspection, I think this could be Amber Riley from Glee. Now, I'd like to give my own personal opinion on this very, very quickly because I love Amber Riley, personally. I love her voice, and I loved hearing her sing as the harp on the US Masked Singer. But she's literally only just won that show. So why in the name of God did the producers have her down here as well right after she's fresh off winning the other one? Like, for goodness sake. I'm not saying they shouldn't, because, Michelle Williams did her, tour of all the different Masked Singers. But for goodness sake, she had a definite break between doing US, UK, and Australia. So for goodness sake, let Amber have a little bit of a sit. Let some other singers come in and have their turn, then get her on the show. Like, yeah, it just seems a bit unfair and it kind of destroys the originality of the show for me. Because if you're hearing the same voices over and over again, gets a little bit boring, really. Um, but yeah, all the same, I'm very happy to be hearing her voice on the show again and to be hearing her singing some new songs and hopefully a little bit more varied to what we got from her on the US version because I kind of felt like the majority of the stuff we heard from her was like power ballads in the earlier stages. Then we got a few more pop songs, but there wasn't. While she definitely deserved to win, there wasn't that much variation between some of the different genres she went for. So yeah, um, so yeah, the clues. First clue that we had was how lower can you go? Written on the beach sign. Goa is a province in India, and India Wilson is a character in Glee. So, yes, that definitely leads me to Glee. Emmy. Now, originally when they mentioned Emmy Shell, I thought that was referring to Michelle Williams, and that made me think Kelly Rowland because she's trying to follow in Michelle's footsteps. But I don't think the shells were meant to mean anything other than just being full stops in between the letters, so I think the judges are reading too far into that. I think it literally just stands for Emmy, because Glee has won several Emmys. And Bodacious, I wasn't really sure about this at first, but then I looked up Bodacious and Glee, and the Bodacious Bells were a cheerleading squad from a rival high school in Glee. So yeah, I definitely think this is Amber Riley. Now, next up we had Otter, and this is definitely one that had me stumped, like well and truly stumped, because the Irish clue really threw me off. I thought this has to be somebody that is Irish, like the judges did. Again, I need to stop letting them throw me off. But maybe it's referring to somebody that's either learned how to do Irish dancing or something along those lines. Now, I have three guesses at this point based on the clues that I saw. There were four main clues that I could get, none of which from what Otter was saying in the VT, only from visual clues. First up, we had Splash. Now, so there may have only been two series of Splash, but so many actresses, or wannabe actresses, should I say, competed in Splash. First of all, I thought it could be Helen Lederer from Ab Fab. No, I haven't really seen her in much aside from the Horrid Henry movie, and I was a huge fan of Horrid Henry as a kid, but that's the only thing I've really seen her in. But we had, she's been on Splash. I saw one article online, for some reason this is logged nowhere else, that said she is trained with RADA. The Vicar. Now this really stumped me, because I have absolutely no idea whether this is a direct link to the celebrity or to their friend, but Helen Lederer is very, very close with French and Saunders. And obviously Dawn French played the Vicar of Dibley. So I really think... But the only trouble is for me the height. I don't know if Helen Lederer is shorter than Otter is. But to me, this is definitely somebody in like their 50s, 60s. That voice does not sound young. It sounds a lot more mature. Not a singer, but definitely held that Baywatch tune very well. Ireland. Oh yeah, also, Helen Lederer, I believe, has learned Irish dancing. So that's where I'm going with that. Other guess was Toya Wilcox, the singer. She has also done Splash, but I don't think she's trained with RADA. She is also friends with French and Saunders, because I think she was on their sketch show back in the day. And as for the Irish stuff, I don't really know where that ties in. I didn't look too far into that. The last one I thought of was Michaela Strachan, because before Springwatch and all the wildlife shows and that, she was training to be an actress. She's trained in ballet, she's trained in tap, she's trained in all kinds of dancing. Not sure whether Irish dancing is included in that, but... And I didn't see RADA listed as the place where she learned to act. So that's where that's sort of fading a little bit. But she could have gone, started with them and then moved on to Arts Ed, which was the place which was listed for her. later on. So I have no idea, but currently Otter is the person that has me stumped the most. Now, Ghost obviously was the unmasked singer of the night, but I've written in his clues that I missed just for the lols. Now, I had no idea that this was Cammy, but when I listened back to him singing, I'm like, oh my god, that's so obviously Cammy. Like, how the hell did I miss that voice, even with the Scottish accent that he was doing? Oh god, it was so naff. But firstly, you've heard me wailing. Now that could either be a reference to him being a TV presenter or his Christmas album, wailing with some of the best, either him chatting with football pundits or his collabs that he did with artists like, as he said on the show, Robbie Williams and Danny Jones. From the cellar to Cash in the Attic, he said he hosts Cash in the Attic, and you won't miss a single thing. Could be referring to a hit single that he had on his album, which is crazy. Like, so many TV presenters these days are able to sing. Like, Alexander Armstrong has released albums. Rob Brydon is a very, very good actor, singer. Bradley Walsh has got an album, and he beat Zayn Malik. Like, wow. But yes, that's where I ended up. Pardon me. Very, very sorry. Just ate before I did this. With Ghost. Now, Cat and Mouse. These are two that I'm very, very sure that I know who they are, based on the clues that I figured out. Now, I didn't really get many audio clues from their VT. Maybe I missed a few things. Everything that I got from their VT was visual. But I think Cat and Mouse could be Shirley and Martin Kemp. Now, you might think, that sounds weird. Why would you say that? Because Cat was speaking most of his lines, not singing them. Martin wasn't necessarily renowned for being the best vocalist in Spandau Ballet. Sadly that crown was passed on to, not passed on, but it belonged, shall we say, to Tony Hadley. But yes, Martin's more of a guitarist. But the 20 million clue, now that threw me for a little bit until I looked it up. Spandau Ballet's reunion tour back in 2014 grossed £20 million. So that's where I think that ties in. And the Spices, Martin and Shirley, thank you very much to my pal in our group chat that gave me this, Martin and Shirley have appeared in a Spice Girls music video. So I am perfectly certain that this could be Martin and Shirley Kemp. And I'm not surprised that Shirley was the better singer of the two, if that is them, because she used to be a backup singer for Wham, and she had her own group, Shirley and Pepsi, back in the day. And lastly, of course, we had Phoenix. Now, I had no idea who this could be at first. I thought Donny Osmond, but then I thought, no, it kind of sounds like him, but it doesn't at the same time. It's one of those weird things. But then I saw somebody in YouTube comments, and I thought, oh my god, how did I not think of that name before? John Barrowman. American accent. Born in Scotland, had to learn an American accent for his job in most of his musical theatre roles. And then I went back and I looked at some of the clues, and I got this. I'm hot, aren't I? Well, I mean, he has been labelled a hottie by so many people out there. Like, it's ridiculous. He is unbelievably hot. Second of all, fire. I cannot believe I didn't realise about this until I saw his name. Torchwood. Fire, Torchwood. Like, duh. Most obvious clue in the history of clues. And then Ashes and Reincarnation. I mean, how many second chances has this man had on TV? I mean, obviously, sadly, I'm sure a lot of people will remember the scandal that happened with him a couple of years back, and ITV literally had to offer him a second chance. And then his latest tour had to be cancelled because it was a complete box office flop. Probably to do with certain people's opinion of him. But that being said, if this is him, I am very happy that he's here because I love to hear him sing. And it's nice to see him sort of put everything aside, just forget about, trying to boost his career and, just do something fun for a change. Get back to his roots and do a little bit of singing. And I have to say, his rendition of Get Lucky I really, really enjoyed. Because I've never heard... Well, I don't know whether there is a rendition of Get Lucky that's jazzy like that. If there is, I want to sing it. Because I love that kind of genre. So yes, that is all our clues for this week and who I believe these masked singers are. I am very excited to be seeing Group B next week. Now, next up we have... let me remind myself, who did we have in the first... Who did we have in the first one? Oh God, my mind's gone blank. I know who's it. I know who's in the last two duels. Who is it? Who's in the first one? Oh, for goodness sake! You've literally been looking at this whole time. Hang on, I've got to look this up. Hang on. This is very, very embarrassing. Hell is the first person in Group B? Jacket Potato and Fawn, that's it, yeah. No, I think Fawn is going to be somebody special. That costume looks like a winning costume to me. So I am definitely rooting for them. Rubbish versus... Now, Rubbish is just such a ridiculous costume. But funnily enough, I know I said we've got no more naff costumes, and a lot of people might disagree with me on that one. I don't think this is a rubbish costume, pardon the pun. I think this is actually very, very inspired. I think this could be, if the singer in there is good, the traffic cone of this series, the inanimate object that has a very, very good voice. I could be dead wrong, and they could be the first person to go out on the night. I don't know. And then, of course, we have Pigeon. Now, this could be somebody young dressing in an oldie, in a costume that looks like an oldie to fool the judges. I don't know. Piece of Cake versus Rhino. Piece of Cake. I have absolutely no idea who this could be. This literally could be anybody, this type of costume. Rhino, on the other hand, looks very, very sporty. I know it's a cowboy outfit, but it looks like it's built for a sports person. So, yeah, that's who I reckon this could be. But, yes, we will see when the episode finally drops on us on Saturday. I will see you all then. And until then, ladies and gentlemen, have a great rest of your week. And Happy New Year to you all again. I know I probably said that last episode, but yes. New Year, New You. That's my motto for this year. Have a nice night, everybody.